Wingy Boxing IFL TV in association with MTK Global. I'm here with the big dog, the main man, Adam Smith.
Hi.
Head of boxing. How do you feel?
I feel great. I'm really excited about the new season. Is it a season? Do we ever really stop? I certainly had a holiday, which was nice, with the family, and my team have all sort of feel a lot of rest and recovery and rejuvenation from the last big night we had was really Dillian White, I suppose. We had the next gen down in Cardiff, but the last biggie was in London, which was a terrific show. And we can't wait to be back. I mean, we've got such a great lineup. Amir Khan this weekend, AJ Povetkin in a couple of weeks. We've got stuff both sides of the pond. You know, we're in Chicago, then we're in Newcastle, then we're in Boston, then we're in London. It's fantastic. You know, talk of Usyk and Bellew, talk of KHAN or Brook fighting Pacquiao or each other. There's so much out there, plus also the competition we've got, which is the PT event of the pay-per-view market, which is we've got Canelo and Golovkin next week. We've got the Super Series final, Callum Swift, George Groves. I mean, take me to everyone ringside. I mean, I'd love to go, as with everybody. It's fantastic for the fans. There's so much out there. There's great competition. It keeps everyone on their toes. And we've got to try and make sure that Sky is the place to come. You know, for digital, for social, for linear, for every sort of output. We've got SkySports.com, Sky Sports News, Sky News, everyone involved working for us in our big arsenal, and that's a great thing to have. And I think boxing's in a terrific place, the hottest it's been in a long time, and that we're all really excited about bringing it forward even more.
What's it like being a head of boxing at Sky Sports? How day to day, is it a stressful thing? Does everything slip into place nicely? You like that one, yeah?
I love that one. I love that one. It is it's a 24/7 role. It's not just a boxing role. You know, I have a duty to support all the other heads of sport. I work very closely with the head of football, the head of cricket. We're really close. The head of golf, the head of Formula One, the head of rugby, the head of multi-sports, all the heads of. We're a very close-knit group, so we work in supporting each other in the way that Sky works. What's best for our customers and our staff, our teams. I don't like using what do I do as head of boxing? What do we do as a team? What do we do as the heads of? What do we do as a boxing team? My senior producer, Ed Robinson, is a fantastic guy who's been in the sport and in the business for a long time. I've got a phenomenal team of talent, diverse team who are brilliant social, digitally, they're brilliant linear. They work so hard, 24/7. So my duty is to make sure they're looked after, make sure they produce the best content they can, to make sure that we work in conjunction with Sky Sports and all the other areas of Sky for our business, and also work very closely with Eddie, with Robert Smith from the board, with our friends at JD who sponsor our ringside show, with DAZN now, with all our other partners, and also, you know, talk to HBO and Showtime and the other TV operators, even if we're not so-called in bed with them at the moment. You know, if they're showing BT shows, or, you know, these things change all the time. You know, BBC have just announced a deal with Fox.
Course, yeah.
Things change all the time. Sky about to be, you know, at the centre of a bidding war between Comcast and Fox and Disney. You know, who knows what's around the corner there. So, you know, we've got to make sure that our business is as good as it can be. That we're doing everything we can for the customer, making sure that, you know, they've got a great lineup. For example, September has got the England game at Wembley on Saturday. England back on Sky cameras. It's fantastic. Then we've got, you know, Spurs Liverpool next week. Yeah. Then we've got AJ Povetkin, KHAN, of course, this weekend, and then we've got the Ryder Cup. So there's huge amounts on Sky Sports. You know, we're a sports channel, but Sky's a business, and we're always trying to look out for each other and how we can help each other. But yeah, if you ask me what's my average day, it is 24/7. Trying to spend time in the boxing world with the team, with their heads, with Sky, with my family, with everything. It's very, very hard, and you've got to delegate and try and balance it as best you can. And you've got to make sensible decisions. You can't do everything. Like we can't have every sweet in the jar in boxing. We can't do everything. We've got to prioritise and make sure that we're doing the right things.
It's interesting that you mentioned the competition. Frank Warren's stable is sort of improved and looking really solid now.
Yeah, it is.
Next to Matchroom's. What do you think when you see that stable growing? Is there a little bit inside of you that thinks, oh, God, I want to go. Come on, you can tell me, Adam.
I can tell you. And I can tell you also that when Josh Warrington beat Lee Selby, and we've shown both of them for a long time, I was straight on to the team, and I said, I think we should get Josh in for our Wednesday guest next week. And, you know, I'm sure Matchroom would have wanted us to use one of their fighters, but Josh was one of our fighters, and you know, we were part of that building up process, and we had some fantastic nights with him in Leeds. He's a great guy, as is Lee Selby. It was a fantastic fight, and Josh produced a wonderful performance to win it. I wanted to talk to Josh and get him on our platform. And, you know, are we going to be talking about Fury Wilder? Are we going to talk about Canelo Golovkin? Of course we are. You know, we're independent. We know our business, and we know our business of what are our events, and obviously what we've got to push and promote and talk about and get behind. You know, there's the excitement of Joshua Boatsian, Lewis Ritson and Joe Cordina in Wales, and Josh Kelly, and all the great names that are coming through the Sky and Matchroom business, and there'll be more in America with DAZN. So they're our business partners, and we work closely with them. But of course, I look at the competition. Frank is a very, very good promoter, has been for many, many years, and of course he wasn't going to go you know, sitting there with a small stable and not do. Of course he was going to put the big fights. You know, a stroke of genius to do Fury Wilder, and he's putting on big fights.
Do you think that's going to happen, Fury Wilder?
I hope so. Good for boxing, good for the heavyweight division. I'm not sure the timing is exactly right for Tyson. I think that maybe he possibly could have a bit longer, but look, he loves a challenge. I love Tyson Fury. He's a great salesman. He's a great fighter. He was brilliant to work with around the Klitschko fight. I'd love to work with him again. You know, not for a while, but you know, it's great for boxing, and I think that fight will. I mean, Eddie's not so sure. I think it probably will happen, and I think that look, we're all going to be interested in it, and we'll all be talking about it.
Do you do predictions?
I mean, no, not
Or
really.
you sit on the fence?
Do you know what? I mean, when I'm calling fights, I don't like to, but I think that, you know, I'm not going to be calling that fight. So I don't know. I think it might be too soon for Tyson. But I was there in Brooklyn when we were there when he came head to head with Deontay Wilder after the Spilker fight. Tyson Fury's got no fear in him. Tyson Fury thinks he's got a style to beat any man. Is Tyson Fury going to turn up that fought Klitschko? Is he ready yet? Is Tyson Fury going to turn up that fought John McDermott?
Now you're taking it back with a floppy hair.
That wasn't very good. You know, you don't know what you're going to get with Tyson a little bit. I think he's brilliantly talented. He's a wonderful artisan in the ring, or when he's at his best, and because of his size and his movement. Is it the right time? Do they need more time? I don't know. The answer will be when they fight. Deontay Wilder was shaky against Luis Ortiz. He very nearly lost that, but he didn't, and he's been more active and he punches very hard. I would think Wilder would be the favourite in that fight, and especially, of course, it happens in America, but I wouldn't count Tyson Fury out, not one of them.
KHAN Vargas, is this a straightforward, maybe 2 to 3 rounds for KHAN, or do you think that Vargas is going to extend him a little bit more than Phil Greco, who may have been caught cold, some were saying?
It should be a KHAN win. Let's not hide behind that. Samuel Vargas has been beaten by Errol Spence and Danny Garcia. And yes, they can talk a great fight. They've worked hard. Of course they've worked hard. It's a great opportunity for them. They've seen the vulnerability in KHAN. They believe they've got a real chance of causing a massive upset, and they could cause a massive upset. It is always possible. The KHAN I saw very briefly against Phil Greco showed me that he's still got the speed. I like his partnership with Joe Goosen, who I think is a very wise trainer. I like the look of KHAN. I hope that he gets rounds, and I hope we get an action-packed fight. And I think with Samuel Vargas will bring the heat to him. So yeah, I think KHAN will come through, but I think he'll probably come through in a few rounds, and I'd like to see him get some rounds because I think he needs rounds before a super fight in Christmas time.
You're a lot more honest and sort of transparent than I was expecting, so I'm going to ask another question here.
Okay.
With the Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua situation, you've got Shelley Finkel saying one thing, you've got Eddie Hearn saying another, people sort of saying different things on different sides of the table. From your in-depth perspective, what is going on with the whole situation? Who wants to fight? Who doesn't want to fight from Adam Smith's perspective?
Anthony Joshua wants to fight Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder wants to fight Anthony Joshua. That's all he needs to know. The two fighters want to fight. It will happen.
Is there things you cannot discuss that you've seen? Or?
No, I mean, look, you know, it's a business. And Alexander Povetkin was a mandatory challenger they've got to take care of. Timing wasn't quite right. AJ's put his flag in the sand and said, I want to fight at Wembley Stadium. That's probably not music to Shelley Finkel and Al Heyman and their ears. Deontay, I think, would come over and fight here. You know, look, he sat there for the Klitschko fight. He was amazed at Wembley. Money talks. You know, there's huge amounts of politics. I think it can be done, and I think that. But let's see what happens. You know, AJ's got to get through Povetkin. Wilder's got to get through Fury. And even if there's a defeat, they can still fight down the line. But everybody wants to see the two unbeaten fighters with all the belts. Of course they do. Dillian Whyte wants his chance. There's the mandatories coming in. There's difficulties with the belts. So I'd like to see it, you know, it happen within the next year. I'd like to see it happen in April. but we haven't got a crystal ball. It's a totally unpredictable sport. If the Wilder Fury fight doesn't happen until, Jeff wrote in the Daily Mail this morning that it will happen in December, could it then happen in February? Things drift sometimes, and then there's the mandatories that come in. It could make it more difficult.
Yeah.
Did they miss their window with AJ Wilder? I don't think so. I don't think they have. I think there's enough want on both sides for this fight to happen. And normally, when there's want on both sides, it happens. There was a lot of want on Amir Khan and KHAN-BROOK sides, personally, for that fight to happen, which makes me, fingers crossed, still confident that it will.
I don't want to get too overexcited. I tried to keep my cool boxing head on, but I'm starting to get a little bit of a tingle of excitement for Tony Bellew in this Usyk fight. We know how good Usyk is.
Hasn't been announced yet.
Absolutely, it hasn't. No, but the clear boxing head in me says, okay, Usyk, talented. Tony's just going to be not swinging, but he's going to have to look for a quote lucky punch. And part of me thinks if there's any point where Usyk decides to trade on the inside, it tips the balance a little bit more towards Tony. And then you think of how efficient Tony is with that left hook, and he is a hooker. If Usyk just breaks down for one moment, what do you feel?
Fascinating, isn't it?
Isn't it?
It's fascinating. Tony Bellew has always given us something to think about. Okay? Look, that's actually what makes him a great analyst and pundit, and why we like having him working with us on Sky as well. Tony's a one-off. Enjoy him while he's here.
Yeah.
Because I never thought he'd come back from what happened with Isaac Chilemba. I never thought we'd ever welcome Bellew back, and in the Nathan Cleverly rematch, onto this sort of level. The guy's got something within him that's special. He knows he's not the greatest boxer in the world. He probably knows he's not the greatest fighter in the world. But he's got an unbelievable spirit, and he's bright. And he works out a way of winning fights people don't think he should win.
Right, there we go.
Does he start an underdog against Alexander Usyk? Yes. Does he start an underdog at cruiserweight? Yes. He's fought at heavyweight. Would I have given Tony probably more of a chance, say with the bookies, whatever, if he fought at heavyweight against Usyk? Yes. He wants the challenge. He wants all the belts, and he wants to take on the best at cruiserweight. Will he win? I have no idea. Would I advise anyone to bet against him? No, because
isn't it?
look, he's just done David Hay a couple of times. He had the win at Goodison against the dangerous McCumber. You don't know, what makes what we hope will be announced.
Yeah.
What hasn't been announced yet, what we hope will be announced.
Of course.
Enthralling, intriguing fight from so many different points of view.
I don't wish to age you. Last question.
Because I really like Alexander Usyk, by the way. I think
he's
a great
He's
fighter.
fantastic. Yeah. Don't wish to age you, but I've grown up listening to you commentate. You don't get much props for your commentating, but as in not don't get props, but people don't mention it, should I say? And you've done a great job. And I think lift off for AJ. That's just that's a moment. Just the way you captured that. Do you still enjoy the commentating side of things?
Yeah, I love it. I'm a head of sport now at Sky Sports, so that's got to take priority. My priority, as I said to you earlier, is working with the team, working with Sky to make sure that we are doing everything we can for our customer. But I love the commentary, and always have. I started calling sporting events on dictaphone when I was 10 years old, and my son is 10 now. That's a long time, and a number of sports, whether it was horse racing or Formula One or cricket or darts or golf or boxing or football, I wanted to do commentary, and I'm very lucky to have done that through my career and been a commentator. And I suppose there's nothing more exciting than being 6 foot from ringside and calling a fight. I'm very privileged to do that, and yes, I love it as much today as I did when I was a kid, as I did when I first did my first major commentary at Sky. I absolutely love it, to answer your question. And I work with really good people. I work with fantastic people. I've got a wonderful team who support in many ways. I've got a brilliant bunch of co-commentators, from Matthew Macklin to Carl Froch to Tony Bellew to Johnny and all the team. And I feel really fortunate to be doing it, and I love doing it, and I still try and do as much homework and prep as I did You know, even when I was starting out, you've got to prepare diligently in it. But yeah, it's part of a dual role now. What I've got is great people on my team to help delegate in other ways, to help organise the day-to-day structure of the team and the operational side, and it allows me to you know, freewheel a bit with strategy and with the commentary side. So, but we work as a team. It's not about me commentating. It's a team effort, and you know, we win and lose as a team. And it doesn't matter, when the bell rings, the bell rings. The fighters fight, and either it's a cracker or it's occasionally a dull 12-rounder. We'll do everything we can to provide the best possible entertainment for our consumers on all the platforms, from the beginning of an event being announced till the end.
Adam Smith, thank you for speaking to Wingy Boxing IFL TV. Thank you for giving me your time, and hopefully again we'll catch up soon. We'll do a part 2. I enjoyed that. Thank you.
No problem. Cheers.